Any fisherman will tell you that that is probably the best noise that you can possibly hear. You're sitting on the boat or you're sitting on the dock, you're reeling in your personal best fish, you got your buddy recording it, and what are you wearing but some raggedy old t-shirt that looks like crap? Why have that incredible moment ruined by not having on the best high-performance fishing shirt that you can get? That's where our friends at Tackle Up come in. Tackle Up is a fishing lifestyle and apparel company that is making some of the finest, highest quality fishing shirts I have ever worn. Also, we may have a Talkin 215 exclusive shirt on their website that you definitely need to check out. TackleUp.com. We know a ton of you go down to the Delaware beaches during the summer season, so when you're down there, you have to head over to Bethany at the corner of Atlantic and Garfield and check out Tackle Up's new storefront location. Selling Grundens, Hoo-Rags, and of course, their incredible design of high-performance fishing shirts. Definitely check them out, and while you're there, tell them that Talkin 215 sent you.
Welcome to Talkin 215, your go-to podcast for everything you need to know about Philly sports. Whether you bleed green, trust the process, fly with the Flyers, or fight with the Fightins, this is the place where we break down Broad Street. Jake, Sean, and Joey deep dive into the heart of Philly sports culture, breaking down games, roster moves, and sharing the stories that make the 215 truly legendary. So grab a cheesesteak, settle in, and let's get to Talkin 215. Now here's your host, Jake Biasado.
Phillies back from across the pond, and they are over in Fenway as the MLB schedule makers decided to just bend us over the barrel with a 6-game road trip following a trip international. We've got a whole cast of characters here. We got Coach here. We got Big Papa Sean. And we got sizzling on the grill, Tomahawk Tommy Steaks. Gentlemen, how the hell are we?
Let's go, baby. Good to be back.
Ready to be back home, man. I'm glad we're back home.
No kidding. Tom, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. I'm trying to figure out my headphones as we speak, and
well, you look great. You look great. For everybody watching on YouTube, shout out Dan Law, putting us out on YouTube. Really pioneering all of that, really doing an incredible job as producer. Shout out Dan. But you look great. Sean, you sound great. I know you were a little under the weather last week. You look as good as always. Sound even better.
I'm just glad we're recording tonight and not even so far as yesterday, because although I probably sound still a little nasally, I was just out of commission. I could just pinch your nose and this was me for the last week, fellas. No good. No good.
Yeah. What are you going to do? You know, sometimes it's just not your week. I get that.
You're gonna watch your team fly across the Atlantic and play in London. You're going to make it the biggest spectacle of the MLB, and it's going to be all surrounded by the Phillies, and it's going to be exhausting.
Oh, man. And in like a 10 o'clock game, that's your kind of game, man. You're a 10 o'clock game guy.
I loved it. I woke up, I did a little cleaning, I did a little laundry, did the dishes, and then I sat around for the longest game of the pitch clock era. That game was seriously 3 hours and 40 minutes and just ended in the worst possible fashion ever. Oh, it was terrible.
I'll tell you what though, like those London games and during the football season, Eagles rarely play them, right? But yeah, it's kind of cool waking up 9:30. You know, obviously you're up before that, but you're waking up, set your fantasy roster, and you're like, oh, there's a game on in 10 minutes. This is pretty cool. Who's playing? Oh, it's the Broncos versus the Seahawks. You're like, well, that game's gonna suck, but hey, it's football on at 9. Let's go. I'm ready.
At 9:30.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Like I worked I was working on the ambulance that day. I took somebody to the hospital at 8:30. I cleared up. I finished the chart, and I was like, let's go. We got the Phils on. Threw the game on. Obviously, we're all big Jose Alvarado guys. It's unfortunate what happened. Like, what happened. I think the game was kind of blown well before that with the decision to go with Gregory Soto after a guy that we've all dogged on. I mean, Taijuan Walker's a guy that we dogged on the entire season, and he finally has a good game. And the first sign of fault, Topper rips him out. Like Beyblades let it rip and just rips him out of the game. What the fuck is he doing? What is he thinking?
He was at like 70-something pitches too.
78 pitches. 78 he had pitches. What? He had let 2 guys on? Yeah, 2 guys on.
That's it.
Yeah.
He was actually,
and like, if you're going to pull him at that point, You pull him for somebody better than Taijuan Walker. You don't pull him for someone equal or below. And honestly, that's what Gregory Soto is. Like when we traded, who is it? Matt Vierling and Nick Maton for Gregory Soto and cash considerations, which is a joke. But it's like, I was kind of excited. I was like, look, this is a fire-breathing left-hander. We got him with Jose. Like, he can throw up to 100. This guy he was the one all-star for that team at the time. Hopefully Tom will be joining right back in for this one on YouTube. He just kind of poked out for a moment. I was excited when they brought him in here. He has been dog shit as a Philly.
Where do you rank him right now, today, as we're recording this? Where do you rank him among your bullpen guys? Like, what is your trust level? Is there anybody that you trust?
Oh, he's dead last.
Less. Okay. So that's basically my question. Is there anybody you trust less?
Sean?
No. Because even the stretch guy,
no earned runs in 5 weeks.
Something ridiculous. No, I'm probably not as down on Soto as the rest of you guys, although he's been hot and cold. He just him and Anthony, they're fire breathers that really you don't know what you're going to get whenever they show up onto the mound. But this game as a whole, like I don't know how much I'm going to take away from that permanently, just because it's such an extenuating circumstance. Like you're going on this long flight, you're jet lagged, your hips are tight, and this was always just going to be like a 2-off. Like we'll make a meme out of it if somebody plays really well, but like who's going to be affected by that the most? And Tom, really good game. I thought his sweeper actually had great movement. His curveball was hitting. He was painting with the curveball.
Yeah,
for the first time all season, it felt like. And then the Bucks stopped there when Gregory Soto came on out. I could not believe Thompson pulled Walker. Like all season, his motto has been this guy pitches like an ace. Like he's going to go 100 pitches. It feels like
he kept
every
them in
single
when he
time
gave up 6 runs. He kept them in.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's that Ivan Drago meme where it's like if he dies, he dies. Like he just leaves him out to dry most of the time, and he didn't even give him a chance to work through the first time he got in trouble and pulled him with 78 pitches on his most masterful start as a Philly. I couldn't believe it. That was just such a weird one-off game. Like I can't really describe. Like, and then just going off of the way it ended, not to jump from one thing to another, but that was such a weird game. Like, I'm just so glad it's over. There's no more spectacle. Just go back to the United States and just play regular ass baseball.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got a question for you guys regarding that London game, and it surrounds all sports, right? It's not just related to baseball. Did you see how bouncy that turf was,
dude?
When the ball hit it?
Dude,
we know what happened. We know what happened in the Super Bowl with the Eagles and Chiefs turf, right? We know what happened there. We know what MetLife turf is like, right? What is the issue? And this is just a hypothetical question. You can answer it if you want to. Why aren't all football, baseball? Why isn't everybody should be regulated to play on the same surface, right? Why do we have so many? I understand in a dome versus outside versus like a cold weather Lambeau, you need certain type of grass versus like a turf and a dome in Indy. I get that part. But what I don't understand is why is there such a big difference between it looked like a bouncy ball instead of a baseball that was just ricocheting off the field, and then you play in the Super Bowl and you're on an ice skating rink. Why is there 900 different types of field turf? I don't get it.
No, it's ridiculous. When they showed like, oh, we're going to do the quick 90-second video showing the 2 weeks of them making the whole stadium. And you're like, that's cool. It turned a soccer stadium right into a baseball field and all. You saw about an inch of sand. And then obviously anybody that knows agriculture will know like that grass is only an inch, half an inch thick on top of concrete. And you're rolling the sand before you put in the grass down and everything so that you're not going to have any holes or dips and all. So you're just playing on the vet essentially. Like you're playing on anybody, like Tom, like every player that I interviewed, like, yeah, when you get tackled on the vet, it was like getting tackled on asphalt. Like you're hitting rock hard ground. That's what that stadium was. And like, look, it's cool. It's fun. I'm sure like UK Philly, shout out. We're big friends of theirs. They're big friends of ours. Like he had a phenomenal time and I'm great. Like it's cool. An international game, especially in MLB, like you feel a lot better about a Philadelphia team playing internationally when you have 162 games rather than 17, like with the stupid Brazil game with the Eagles. But that video of them,
that's where I was going, the Brazil game. That's where I was going with that. I wonder what that field's going to be like.
Dude, I mean, remember 2 years ago when they talked about the field in Mexico where they nearly forfeited the game because like somebody would make a cut and 18 inches of grass would get ripped up? Like I'm very concerned about the field quality in that game in Brazil because soccer is not football. Like, and anybody will be like, oh, it's football. No, it's soccer. Stop. Like American football is football.
Let's not alienate our European London, our La Liga fans.
If you're a fan, and look, Colin, like I get it. I respect you. I love you, man. I appreciate we're having you on soon. You were at the London game. I can't wait to hear about your experience. It's soccer. Like it's soccer. But I'm nervous about that stadium, man. Like it's not the same kind of game as
it's just all about who can adapt to the new physics. It's no different than tennis players being good in clay versus in grass, right?
Yeah,
versus your typical playing surface, right? It's just these guys have to adjust on the fly, know that there's not going to be an asterisk after it, but certain players are going to do better in that situation than others, right? This is LaShawn McCoy being able to play in the snow leagues better than anybody else, right? And it's just a wait and see. We're going to have to find out who steps up to the challenge.
Yeah, I think his original point what he.
Tom, I gotta cut you off for a second, Tom. Your whatever mic you switch to, it sounds terrible. So I'm gonna cut you off for a moment there. Now, we had Doc on, and anybody that follows us on social media or anything knows that they saw the clips that we put out. JT Real Mute though, out of nowhere, news comes out that he's going to be putting on the IL. I mean, anybody that follows baseball knows that JT has caught more innings than any player in Major League Baseball since he joined the Phillies. So it's not super, super surprising for a 30-plus-year-old to be going on the IL and everything. My main concern is this the first chink in the armor that sets JT on that path where, like, the main concern with signing him long-term was, he's a catcher. He's playing a ton of innings. Is he going to be able to be a catcher for that long? And now you're seeing that right meniscus tear. It's a partial tear, but they're choosing to go with the meniscectomy, which they're just removing the partially torn area of the meniscus and leaving the intact part. And for anybody that didn't listen to it, check out the clip that we put out in the video we put out with our friends from Delaware orthopedic specialists talking about this injury specific. He said their goal was to remove as minimal meniscus as possible to be able to keep as much in there. But he's like, look, long term, this is greatly going to affect his ability to catch because it's not a repair, it's a removal. It's just something to get him back out there in 4 to 6 weeks. And so when he comes back, he's going to feel great. He's going to feel just as good as he felt before the injury. But long term, he's now playing with at least 25% less of a meniscus in his knee than he had previously, which as a catcher who you see him, they're bending in ways that we all can't bend in. And you're looking at a guy he's under contract for 3 more years minimum, right? 3-4 more years. You're looking long term. That's shortened his career as a true catcher.
Yeah, and of course, it goes back to a month into the season. He was out for a couple games because of some knee soreness.
Yeah,
right. And I'm sure he was kind of grinning and bearing it in the meantime. But this is not the kind of injury you want to see from your catcher. I mean, this is the elbow strain in a pitcher. This is the shoulder, the rotator injury for a quarterback. Like, this is something that you're going to have to be weary of for the rest of his career, right? because catchers heavily reliant on their knees. So this, you sure as hell hope it's not the first chink in the chain, as you worded it earlier, right? Because I was big on saying that this is probably going to be the year he starts to decline because of his amount of playing time before the season started.
You see
And
the innings
honestly,
caught, he is number one by a wide margin.
right. But
The
to
difference
his
between
credit,
him and third is like 500 innings.
yeah, it's something ridiculous. To his credit, he's had a great first third of a season, right?
Oh, yeah.
Playing into up through the 11th of June, he's had a better season than I thought he was going to have, right? At the plate and behind the plate. But this is something that, yeah, I mean, you talk about what is he, 32 right now? 33?
Yeah, I'll look it
So
up right now. I don't know why I don't have it.
this very easily could be that start of that gradual decline. I sure as hell hope not, man. I was excited to see that I looked as if I was
He's
proven
33.
wrong.
He's
33,
currently
right.
33. His birthday's in March, so he's not going to be 34 for a little while.
So he doesn't have much time left in general.
As a catcher, I mean, Yadier Molina was the last guy you saw really go deep into their career playing the catcher position as a starting role. I mean, I'll look it up right now, but he's got at least 3 more years under contract. And like the universal DH, Schwarber's only under contract for 1 more season. But then we talked about it. How many weeks have we talked about? Aiden Miller is lighting up. He's now the 21st top 100 prospect by a number of people. He's really breaking into the top 20 in a lot of reporters' eyes. And then Alec Boehm is a guy that we all hope they sign long term. And so like Alec Boehm then gets moved to DH when Schwarber is gone. Aiden Miller, who's a phenom at the plate and really good defensively, moves as your full-time third baseman here in a year or two. And so then you're looking like, okay, where do we have JT? Because as fingers crossed that he's able to recover and have at least 3 more years playing the catcher position. But a lot of people talked about when he signed that long-term contract. Okay, well, but they have the universal DH. He can then transition to being as a more of a backup catcher role and a full-time DH role, and kind of flip-flop with Garrett Stubbs. And then they obviously none of us believe Garrett Stubbs is in position to become a full-time catcher. They'd have to, Rafael Marchand, one of their other prospects, or sign a guy in free agency to then take that role. But they were kind of like, okay, it's a lot easier to see JT signing a long-term contract with them having the universal DH. But now with Aiden Miller, with Alec Boehm, with JT now having this right meniscus partial tear, and they're not doing a full repair. They're doing just kind of a little recovery thing, a meniscectomy, where they're just removing the affected area. So now, in the words of Dr. Mesa, he's going to be meniscus deficient in that right knee, which isn't good for a catcher.
Not good for anybody.
Now,
well, listen, if we keep skinny Schwarber, right? I mean, once his contract is up, it's up, right? We talk about moving Boehmer over to the DH spot, but that's probably not an issue we have to look at for another couple seasons. Even with Aiden Miller ascending, what do you just get pulled up to high A ball?
I'm not talking about Aiden Miller or any of those guys until we win a World Series. You win a World Series, then you cross that bridge afterwards.
Listen, I don't want to talk too much about 2 years down the road because you never really know. But I mean, ultimately, what's going to happen is, despite this team trying to protect that 11-year contract of Bryce Harper, he's going to have to go back into right field. Like at some point, like the amount of DHs and the amount of first baseman, like you're going to run out of positions here. Like he's a good arm, he's a plus arm in the outfield. Like that elbow, that UCL is totally fine, right? They're going to have to take off the baby gloves. He's going to have to get some wear and tear, at least, throw him out there for a season to see, how this team meshes with him back out there in right field. It's got to happen at some point during his contract.
Tommy, we lost you there due to technical difficulties. Do you want to finish what that thought you had there?
I mean, back to all the way to what you were saying, absolutely not. That is way out of the conversation. But what Sean was saying about the Phils, all I'm saying is I think this is one of the best teams they've ever had that I've seen, and I don't think there's any doubt about it, right? I mean, I don't watch them as much as you guys, which is why I rely on some of what other people say. But overall, I've not seen. I mean, there's a lot of things that can be discussed, but ultimately, I zoom out and I just see a team that I've never seen a team like this other than like two other seasons, 3 other seasons maybe with the Phillies. So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, if I can compare it for you, Tom, to in like Eagles terms,
Yeah.
imagine if like AJ and Devontae were slumping, and all of a sudden Quez had a string of 3 straight games with 100 yards and a touchdown. A guy that you never expected to do anything really, or Zach Cunningham had 3 straight games with a sack and a forced fumble. It's just when the stars on the Phillies don't show up, their bench bats or their utility guys or guys that they just called up or journeymen show up. When they're not doing well, the stars are back. Somebody always just makes a play. And I think you need that in any sport, right? Like I love the dog Jason Tatum. I love to do it just because I have a vendetta from back on draft day. It is what it is. I know he's a good player, but the Celtics are a prime example of that. Horford could go off for 20. Derek White can go off, for 30, things like that. You got pieces, and that's how this Phillies team is built. At any given time, somebody can be the star of the game, and it could be the guy that makes $300 million, or it could be the guy that was just in the minors making $30K. It doesn't matter, and that's kind of how
David Dahl. Did you say David Dahl?
And I think going back to that Celtics analogy, honestly, Jason Tatum, his shots not falling, other guys picking up the scoring, and then Jason Tatum's playing defense, he's rebounding, he's playing point guard, he's getting assists. So you talk about that maybe the Eagles, like that when you kind of feel that when the culture of the team is bought in, and you really have a chance to win a title. Because if Devontae's not having a great game, he's blocking, or if AJ's not catching the deep ball, he's going underneath. They're all willing to do different things, and that's what it sounds like you're saying with the Phillies is like, everybody can step up in any way, any given game, and there's always something that they're doing to win. And when you have that kind of culture around a team, they're a special team.
No, for sure.
That's why I love Boston Scott.
I mean, we're just talking about the steps that we're going to be making in years from now. Like we're not complaining about today. We're just okay. In 2 years, we're going to be like, it feels like we're like the 02 Eagles, 03 Eagles, where we're just trying to figure out, like, we know we're going to make the NFC Championship game. We're just trying to figure out what the hell is going to get us over that hump. What's the difference that's going to get us to that 04?
02, 03, it was wide receiver.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it was a glaring issue, right?
I mean, Todd Kingston wasn't taking you there.
No, but you're saying that about the Phils, like, right? Or that's what you're saying that about the Phillies, though, right? Like, talking about like right now, the team's so great that all you can really say is like, yeah, okay, well, they could play better here and there, but also then you're talking about the future, and that's always a good feeling when you're like it even happens on the Eagles when we're breaking down like, oh, who's going to be like the third D tackle like this year, and we're like, man, we got it really good. You know what I mean?
But that shit also pisses me off too. When every draft cycle the last 3 years, and I'm gonna go to my high horse here. They're like trying to draft the 5th best tackle in the draft who's a project because he needs to be Lane's replacement. And I'm like, Lane's playing another 5. Like, what are you doing? Like, they're like so low. By the time Lane retires,
says, "Oh, I feel like one of the best conditions I've felt in my entire career." And you're like, "Oh no, we need to draft 1st-round tackle." You're like, "Dude, Jordan Mailata signed for 5 years. Lane's playing at least 3. Why would you take a 1st-day, 2nd-day pick in tackle?"
Yeah, exactly. And people don't realize that what you're really doing when you draft somebody is you're racing against the clock. Like, you want them to get good enough by year 3 of their rookie deal so you can give them an extension early. And if you draft a backup in the 1st round 3 years into his career, he probably hasn't shown you much. So it's like a waste of a pick because you're probably just going to let him walk. You're not going to pay him if he hasn't played. So it's like you need to figure out how to get your earlier picks on the field more so than anything.
And then you're the Flyers, where you have Anthony Stolar, Sergei Bobrovsky, and every other goalie prospect. You let him go, and then they're stars now. You have 3 ex-Flyers about to catch a ring right now that we just completely gave up on because we're like, oh, we don't know what they are, and we've got these guys in place that are probably better. And now Stoley, the goalie, who's a Philadelphia local, who's the guy that we just completely gave up on. We got nothing for him. We just gave up on him. He's now about to be a Stanley Cup winning goaltender, starting goaltender. And we just completely gave up on him. It's a perfect analogy. It's like you can't draft a guy that high if there's already a star in that starting role that you don't really see going anywhere, a la Lane Johnson. Why the hell would you take a guy early? Why the hell would you take a tackle when you have, especially when you have the number one position coach in all of pro football and Jeff Stoutland, to where you can take pretty much any athletic freak of nature? See Jordan Mailata, friend of the podcast, not a big deal, coming out here now earning an incredible contract that he truly earned, that we turned a rugby player into this year. He could be Pro Bowl, all pro level left tackle. Why would you then spend a day 1, day 2 pick on a guy that's not going to play for 3 years?
Well, think about this too. We signed Mekhi Becton, who was a former
good signing, like
7 pick, right? Freak of nature athlete, huge human, and said, Stoutland, mold this guy. We got him for what? $2 million, something like that, non-guaranteed. Yeah. What's more valuable, $2 million non-guaranteed or a first-round pick? A first-round pick is. So I'm not using that on a guy that maybe sit 2-3 years behind Lane or something like that. That does nothing for me. And then people come back with the argument, oh, well, what happens if Lane gets hurt? Okay, what happens if Jalen Hurts get hurt? You want to take a quarterback in the first round if one drops you then? I mean, what are we doing? We could do that about any – what if A.J. Brown gets hurt? Should we have taken Mark? You could do that with any position.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's not even worth talking about using, because like you said, they take risks on former first-round picks for cheap contracts.
Yeah.
That they get, like, they try to do that a lot. That's one of Howie's big principles. He's talked about it in multiple interviews. And I think it's a good idea. Like we did it with Devin White too. He was a former first round pick that didn't really work out in Tampa.
We got John Ross. Might be our wide receiver 3.
There you go. Yeah, John Ross pick. Really came out of retirement to come back. So
yeah, I mean, friend of the show, insane. Jimmy Kempski, said he had a great early, like late spring, early summer showing. Like he's been doing really well out there. And look, like obviously he's not the 4.25, 4.21, whatever his 40 was. He's not that same guy. He's still a speedster. He's still a guy. He's more put his focus on route running rather than speed, because at this point in his career, he's not going to be that absolute game-changing burner that he was. But Jimmy Kempski, and he's the guy I trust more than almost any Eagles beat reporter out there, is saying he had a good camp. He's that kind of veteran presence. He's going out there doing what he needs to do. And we talked about this as soon as the signing was made. Kellen Moore is the guy that you need a wide receiver 3 more than any other offensive coordinator, because coach and Tom, you all Saul and Tom, you talk shit plenty about Dallas, about what they were able to do with their wide receiver 3 under Moore. I mean, he earned their wide receiver 3 in Dallas more money than they ever deserved because of his ability to game plan around every single weapon they had in their offense. So this position for the Eagles is going to be vitally important. So whether it's Sean Ross, Anais Smith, anybody out there, obviously not Devontae Parker, he's retired. And look, best of luck to him in his post-NFL career. But it's like this position is going to be vitally important for the Birds, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. There's what's the sign on the Statue of Liberty? Give us your poor, give us your sick, give us your hungry. That's Howie Roseman with first round picks. Like, give us your former wide receivers, give us your former offensive tackle 1 in the draft, give us your former day 1 bust. We'll take them. Bring them on over. We'll take them over here and give them a home. And look, it doesn't always work out, right? It's not always going to work out. But Jake, you touched on something I'm wondering where you could segue to. You talked about a beat reporter you trust on the Eagles, and that's Jimmy Kempski. Can we pivot a little bit? Is this cool if we pivot on this show to one that we don't trust?
Coach, you've been on this podcast for what, 2 years? Yeah, it's at least 2 years, maybe 2 plus.
3. I think it was 3.
It's at least 2 years. It's probably 3. Pivoting is probably something we do best.
It is. We
are very good.
We are a good group of guys, a gang. Some might call us
gaggle. Gaggle of guys.
The gang talks about the Eagles and such. I just want to say something, because our good buddy John Barchard put up a tracker, day 52 of Elliott Shore Parks still
Fuck
not
Elliott Shore
responding
Parks.
to this. And the only reason I'm bringing this, not the only reason I'm bringing it, but one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is I notice again that trash ass radio station is questioning Jalen Hurts' demeanor and character in a press conference, asking him about something that he doesn't even know about. What have you seen Nick Sirianni do changing when it comes to communication with Kellen Moore, et cetera? And he's like, I don't know. He's been great. He's been vocal. He's done what he's done. I don't know. What do you see him being more control over? I don't know. It was just OTA passing scale. There's no pads. There's no tackling. It's basic install day one. Do you want Nick Sirianni to jump in and be like, no. That's how we do this. This is how we do that. He's letting Kellen install everything, get as much reps as you can with the first, second, third team. And you got to imagine, rosters are at 600 people right now. There's not even cut downs. So you're having to get fifth, sixth string. Boom, 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 boom. How the hell could you ask Jalen Hurts what demeanor someone was in with their control and then judge them on that? Tom, you had a perfect tweet about how this radio station wants AJ to be less this, Jalen to be more that. I'll let you say it in your own words, but it pissed me off so much.
Philadelphia Gossip Radio?
Yeah, it pisses me off so much what they do, man. It really does.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you got that off your chest because I've been seeing the tenacity built up onto the timeline lately on Twitter, and I hate the radio stations, but I try to stay out of the the beat writer stuff. I don't even like quoting beat writers, honestly, and it's something I just stay away because I don't know who knows what and who thinks what about what, and it's just to me I just try to look at everyone as just regular people, regular.
But you heard the presser, right? You heard Hurts in the presser. How could you?
Oh yeah.
Into something negative, you know?
No, yeah. Oh, no. That it's and I know the tweet you're talking about when it's like AJ should be less animated, Hurt should be more emotional, Devontae should have taken less money. It's like they always have a problem with something they're doing. And
no, Devontae should have taken more money. What are you talking
more
about?
Money. That's what I mean.
Fire his agent because he took so much less. No, it's because Howie knows exactly. And there's something to be said about being comfortable and being happy with where you are. Like, what is $5 million on the West Coast going to do when you're paying $7 million more in taxes? Like, Devontae loves where he's at. He loves the coaching staff. He loves the quarterback. Like, who wouldn't love Jalen Hurts? He loves. There's something to be said about comfortability that nobody talks about. When you're talking about 20 to 25 million, that's still more money than all of us will ever see in our lifetime. And Devontae Smith, if anybody follows, if they're active on social media, if they're active on anything, they'll see the home that he bought in South Jersey. It's a beautiful home, but people are dogging him because it's just like a 4-bed, 3-bath home. It's a regular, it's a beautiful house. People are dogging him. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's a gorgeous home on a nice plot of land. Like, the guy is smarter than 98% of all NFL players buying a nice economic home for where he's at. He's comfortable with where he is. He's comfortable with the coaching staff, with the players. He loves being here. Like, fuck anybody that's saying, oh, why isn't he buying an 18-bed, 9-bath home that he's never seeing 3 of the rooms until he sells the house? Like, there's something greatly to be said about the coaching staff, and that it reflects upon Jalen Hurts as a leader, which WIP Sports Gossip Radio will tell you he's a terrible leader. Why are you having them players signing for undervalue? Why are you having players staying here saying, I want to be here, buying houses smaller than they can afford? Because they're like, dude, fuck you. I want to play on this team that's going to be in the postseason for the next 5 straight years. You know what that sound is. That's the sound of summer, and there's no better way to kick off this summer season than with an ice-cold Dewey beer. Dewey Beer recently voted the #1 brew pub in the nation. The nation, #1 brew pub with locations in Delaware and even in Colorado, has some of the coldest, crispest, most delicious beer I have ever tasted. And you're going to be able to get it for free at the Talkin 215 free beer Phillies tailgates. You know we're always advertising them on our social media. But enough about that. Let's talk about Dewey for a little bit. Locally owned and operated, they use only the finest ingredients and go through a painstaking process to make sure that the best product possible is in that can. And you need that can in your hand. Head on over to deweybeerco.com to see where Dewey is sold near you and get yourself some of the delicious El Trono, Swishy Pants, or any of their other incredible beers. Dewey Beer. Let's kick off summer right, folks.
I got an idea. Should he have taken an insane amount of money and ended up like what the Chargers did, where they had to cut every one of their receivers? They had to restructure. They had to restructure contracts, and now they have no offense or no chance. Or do you still want to take $70 million, which is a lot of money, and a chance to win a Super Bowl and stay in the city where your wife and yourself are raising your child and raising a family and bought a home, set down roots, and oh yeah, you were college teammates with Jalen. You were college teammates with Landon Dickerson. Like, they're your friends. You have I don't know who amongst us wouldn't want to have generational wealth, work every day with your best friend, work only 6 months out of the 12-month year, and be able to stay in the city where you're around family, friends, and you're raising that family together.
Exactly.
Who's going to say, no, I want to go somewhere? Like, what are we doing here? And then you see,
I love Jimmy Herbert, but it's like, how much is it worth to lose California taxes?
Jimmy Herbert
team that's
Jimmy Herbert,
whatever. Stop, Justin Herbert. How much is it worth to live in California and to play on a team that's never going to sniff the postseason under him, and to be in a place where you're like, we're going to be a competitor for years to come, and I'm going to be making a shit ton of money and playing on a team that I'm comfortable in. Coach, I think you made a wonderful point there.
Or you could be like the Cowboys. You could be like the Cowboys and Dak, Mike McCarthy, Trey Lance, Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb all want a contract at the same time. I mean, what do you do then? Is Dallas radio sitting there saying, I hope they hold out to the last second and break the bank so that we can't keep all of them or compete? Man, that'll be the best thing for those guys. Man, what are we doing here? What are we even talking about anymore? Has sports talk become so diluted?
No, it's sports gossip. It's
and watered down. Yeah,
it's
that we have
Joe
to do
Banner, guys. It's Joe Banner. It is a lover scorn, right? A guy that is no longer with the team, that wishes he had the modicum of success that this organization has now without him. So, I mean, he's just trying to remain relevant, guys. Just like ESP, which, by the way, brilliant job never saying anything about the Deshaun, the Djack, the LaShawn, anything about that, because every single time he tweets, he has 100 people
you see them
feeding the algorithm. And at the very top, it's Joey K. Scooter McGill, just like, fuck you, asshole. And I'm
I gotta be blocked soon.
You have to. You
are
have
doing
to.
numbers, and it doesn't matter what he says. Like, he could say anything, and there's 100 replies in 10 minutes. Like this, just from a marketing aspect. I mean, the guy is a worm. The guy is the scum that you clean up off of the bottom of your tub every 6 months, right? But I mean, brilliant job not owning up to anything. Like, he does something negative and it really helps him in the long run. This guy might as well be the highest paid guy at WIP, because that's what they're prioritizing over there, is the attention that he brings, just a seething negativity from the fan base. He's doing it like no one else I've seen here.
Yeah. And he's been doing it for a while with his off the wall kind of takes, and I mean they're all like similar to me, and it's frustrating. I'm glad we're doing what we're doing, because we're trying to bring back more, more realistic football talk and sports talk, and that's why I'm glad I see all the podcasts, people coming together and putting out great content. There's a lot of BS engagement baiting kind of stuff out there, and people not standing on what they say, and glad we stand on business here at Talkin 215, boys. That's why I like working with you guys.
That's all we do. We don't stand on much else.
Wait, you guys aren't making $25 million a year?
Yeah,
those engagement baits are funny, man. Somebody will put out, and they say Steph Curry can't shoot.
Yeah,
and you'll just see like 7,000 replies that are like, no, he could shoot. He's a good shooter. Trust me. You don't watch ball. And it's like, the whole point is like, this is stupid now. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that. Like, I mean, did you see the one? Did See the Cowboys guy put out.
I know who he is, and I can't stand him, Tom, but he does a good job of baiting me, and I fucking can't stand it.
The Dak versus Mahomes thing. Did you see that today?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, the Dak.
Yeah.
I haven't been on Twitter. Enlighten
The
me.
Dak and Mahomes comparison.
Last 20 games or something like that.
They're pretty.
Did you see the
that's
Kirk Cousins versus Mahomes?
Yeah, of course, because that was me. I put that.
You could do that with anybody, right? You could do that with almost anybody and cherry pick the categories.
Yeah,
and pick the sample size games.
Yeah.
Like over the course of their career, you could be like Peyton Manning's last 10 years of his career when his arm was falling off and he couldn't throw versus Tim Tebow's last game of his career, last 10. Tebow is better in this. That doesn't mean Tebow's a better quarterback. You just cherry.
Doesn't mean anything. Yeah, stats without context don't mean anything. So that's number one. And then but that's the kind of stuff people are doing nowadays. It's like, come on, man. We all know why they're not the same player. Like we all watch the sport, hopefully. So it's like, and I'm sure other sports do it too. I'm sure they do it in baseball, and I know they do it in basketball. So it's just getting ridiculous. So I'm glad we keep it real. That was my bottom line.
No, that's all we do. If you can't keep it real, why keep it at all?
Yeah, exactly.
Good tagline. You're full of the one-liners tonight, Jake.
Yeah. You're killing it. You're also the Jalen Hurts of the Talking 215.
Look, if you're at my table, everybody eats.
Yeah, exactly. That was the quote of the night right there. Oh man. Oh, dude, it's getting late. I mean, this is like a.
All right, I actually had a question for you, for all y'all that I thought about before. Shout out Kettle One, not a sponsor, but shout out Kettle One. Top 3 breakfast meats, because we have June 23rd. We have the Talkin' 215 tailgate sponsored by Dewey Beer. Shout out Dewey Beer. If you're not drinking Dewey, what are you drinking? We're gonna be out there at 6:37 a.m. on 6/23. They decided to move the game to 11:30. I don't know why, but Sean loves it. We're going to be doing a kegs and eggs event. We're going to be making breakfast sandwiches and serving ice cold Dewey beer. So I wanted to ask you all, top 3 breakfast meats. Tom, I want to start with you. What is your number 3 when it comes to breakfast meats?
This is probably going to be an unpopular 3 slot, but it's bacon. Bacon's in my 3.
Wow.
Either turkey bacon or
wow.
Bacon. I really love turkey bacon.
Where's
but
Canadian
I'll
bacon
say
for you?
Canadian bacon. Well,
just hot ham.
That's ham.
That's hot ham.
Yeah. I mean, I already gave my number 3, so you got to get the other guy's number 3 before I give my number 2. I'm not revealing the list right yet. So,
Coach, number 3, breakfast meats.
Bacon.
Not as hot as we thought.
Wow, I did not think I was going to get an agreement.
Just hold tight. Just hold tight. Hold tight.
Guys,
where are you at?
My number 3 is bacon.
Dude, my number 3 is bacon too.
No way.
Wow. Dude,
No
what
way.
a number 3. Oh man. I mean, look, like I mean, I live by the 5 M's. Meatless meals make me mad. Like if you don't have meat in a meal, it's not a meal. Like that's something for your pets. Like that's something for a rabbit. Like if you don't have meat in it, it's for a pet. Like meatless meals make me mad. I'm sorry, vegans. I'm sorry, vegetarians, but you're not living life unless you got a little meat in that meal. And like I'll start off number 2. Number 2 is probably Scrapple.
All right.
Like I love Scrapple. And I like it thin. Like I don't like the bricks that you get at diners and everything. Like I like it. It's fine. But like I like it thin and crispy where you're gonna crunch through the whole bite. You cut me an 1/8 inch piece of Scrapple, a couple of them, like 3 or 4 pieces on a breakfast sandwich with eggs and cheese, pepper jack preferred. I'm a happy camper.
And that's number 2. That's a home run for number 2.
As long as it's thin. If it's thick, it's outside of top 3. But if you cut it thin and get it crispy on the griddle, number 2 is Scrapple all day.
Should I reveal my number 2?
Go right ahead.
Dun, dun, dun. It is pork roll.
Whoa!
Pork roll.
I mean, that's a Philly move. That's a Philly move.
Yes, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that, going to the games growing up, we'd go to Wawa, I'd get the pork roll, egg, and cheese.
Get
And
the
that was me and my dad would get the pork roll, egg, and cheese, and we'd force them down and go to the link. So
you're a pork roll sizzly kind of guy.
Yeah, that holds a special place in my heart. And when I think tailgate breakfast, I think pork roll.
Sean in the green shirt without the backlighting.
Okay, so I would like an honorable mention to Scrapple. However, I'm very pro Rappa Scrapple. I think that is just leagues above every other brand I think that I've tried. So because of the inconsistency, it falls just off my list. Okay. Number 2, a bit of a controversial one, I think, because I don't see it particularly often, but it's something that I, as a big meathead myself, self-proclaimed bodybuilder, have eaten plenty of times for breakfast, and everybody looks at me like I'm crazy. My number 2 is ground beef.
Wow.
Keep it simple.
That is a hot take.
Even a burger. Do you know how often I wake up?
Dude. You're such a caveman.
7:30 in the morning. I want a burger, dude. There's no time limit. There's no warming up this appetite of mine. I want meat in my mouth immediately.
Our producer will clip that.
I would hate to disagree with you, but honestly, I'm probably right there with you. I'll have a 9:30 a.m. cheesesteak.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, shout out Sean. I went to Nick's per your recommendation.
Yes,
dude, number 2 on my list. It's second to Angelo's. Nick's was phenomenal. If you want a great cheesesteak, like I have been to some of the haymakers. Talking 215 Cheesesteak Rodeo Reviews, we have been to some of the haymakers. Obviously, we still need to go to Camellas, which is a lot of people's number 1, and it's a place we're going to be going to in the next month or so. But Nick's off of Kirkwood Highway right now holds the number 2 spot with an 8.7. Great.
I told you it wasn't going to disappoint. I told you.
And
let's get Coach's
8.9 pie.
What was it?
Let's get Coach's breakfast meat. We're going into cheesesteaks. Like, we got to keep this thing locked in. I'm fired up for this.
Sorry, my number 2 is provocative.
I hear you. Jake's excited about everything right now. It could be because of the sponsor that he's shouting out, but it's not a spot. The unofficial
not
sponsor.
Our sponsor. We have another
show. Yeah. Maybe I don't know if we could even air that. Honestly, you can't be shouting out.
It's a podcast. We'll air whatever.
We have a beer sponsor, okay, not a spirit sponsor.
True. Anyway,
Coach.
Let's get it.
Number 2 breakfast meat.
I'm a little bit of a showman myself over here, so I'm going to give you 2 and then 1, and then see you guys do your 1.
Wow, so, he's just taking the reins.
Again, I am a little bit of a
John
showman
Wayne over here.
So I said number 3 was bacon, number 2 bacon, number 1 bacon.
Wow.
Top 3. If bacon is a choice of any other breakfast meat, I'm always doing bacon. And look, I'm not one of these weirdos that has to have crispy, dark bacon. I don't need no. I need that juicy. I need it like medium rare, like it's still like I can still hear the animal. I need juicy, fatty.
You need that Lizzo bacon.
Yeah, I need applewood, smoked, thick cut, juicy bacon.
Sean was showing some thick cut, juicy bacon.
I'm telling you, like what? And Sean was talking about burgers.
Just the root of the bacon.
Sean was talking about burgers. I'll wrap my entire burger in bacon. I don't care. But if there's any breakfast meat ever available and bacon's a choice, I'm doing bacon 10 times out of 10. It's not a question. The other stuff is good, but it's bacon.
Speaking of bacon cheeseburgers, honestly, if you haven't done chunky peanut butter on a bacon cheeseburger, I'm telling you.
We're done. The episode's over.
I'm telling you, shout out Kettle One. I've been there in that spot. I'm telling you, it's a great drunk cheeseburger topping. Go chunky peanut butter on a bacon cheeseburger, nothing else. You can throw your ketchup, whatever you want on it. Coach,
with the peanut butter, Jake.
Coach, whistle and all. I'm telling you, try Make it at home because you're not getting it at any bar.
No shit. I'm not ordering that at some restaurant. Give me chunky peanut butter and ketchup on my burger.
Try a chunky peanut butter bacon cheeseburger. I'm telling you, I was shocked. I thought, dude, I was in the same place as you where I was like, no shot. This is any good. I'm telling you, the fattiness, the creaminess, the crunchiness, I'm telling you, it's a great topping. I wouldn't do like, it's not something you do every time, but if you're making it at home and you got some good 80-20, ground beef, you're making up, you got some nice crispy bacon, and you're like, you know what? I got some nice chunky peanut butter, throw a spread on the bun. Let's go. No ketchup, no mustard, no mayo. It's a good topping.
Dude, there's a place in Manayunk called Lucky's Last Chance, and they have an award-winning Manayunk's like, I don't know if you guys know, but it's like
shout out Manayunk.
Yeah. I always forget you guys are in Delaware.
Shout out Chef Big Rube.
Yeah. But Manayunk has a place on Main Street called Lucky's Last Chance. It's a bar that sells burgers, and they have 2 burgers that won awards at some like burger off in Philly. The number 1 burger that won 2 awards is called the PB&J burger, and it's like a peanut butter bacon cheeseburger with like a little side of this homemade jelly that they have, and it's like it's actually really good.
What did I tell you?
Not chunky peanut butter, but all right, I'm going into my number 1 breakfast meat. I'm getting us back onto that track. My number 1 breakfast meat is sausage.
It's got to be sausage.
I love breakfast sausage.
That's my number 1. I'm throwing it right in there for you. Breakfast sausage is great.
Sausage, egg, and cheese. Oh my god! Sausage, egg, and cheese is.
It's chef's kiss. I mean, it's Italian chef's kiss. So it's perfect.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
No, that's terrible. Are you kidding me? Is the most number 1 overrated breakfast sandwich breakfast of all time.
Wow.
Okay? And just going back, bacon, Joey, to your point, bacon is good no matter how it comes out. If it's undercooked, if it's overcooked, if it's thick, if it's thin, that's what gave it the edge over scrapple to me. Scrapple I like with certain circumstances, but sausage is bad no matter how you cut it. Okay. It's a fake meat. It's a fake meat. Wow. Okay. It's not real. Okay. It's like livers and intestines and just like scrapple, but it doesn't taste nearly as good. Okay. It's a fake. If I'm going to go intestines and all that shit, I got to go with the real deal scrapple. Okay. My number 1 meat, okay, much more akin to that. My ground beef is number 2. I got to go the whole thick and meaty number 1. I got to go steak. Okay.
It's breakfast, Sean.
Yes, you're goddamn right. Okay. I want the thigh of a formerly alive animal on my plate as soon as I wake up in the morning. I want the strength and the power from that animal, the spirit to go inside of me. Okay. Embody the power of that animal.
You like a lot of meat inside of you, don't you?
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
It is June. So you can say that.
I said everything but, man. I want it in around my mouth as fast as I can immediately upon waking. Okay.
All right, Sean wakes up.
Okay. You get a little mineral water, a pinch of salt, meat.
I'll take the venison omelet.
Who's cooking a steak in the morning?
You're looking at him, buddy. Top right corner. It's me.
How do you cook your steak? I need to know this because I'm about to log off this show.
I mean, as a gentleman, I pride myself more than anything else, more than podcasts, more than anything. I pride myself in my steak cooking abilities.
How do you cook it?
I'll put my steak cooking higher than anybody else's.
How do you eat your steak? How do you take it? What temperature?
At least 1.25 inch steak. I'm going room temperature. I'm leaving it out for about an hour to get it room temperature. Answer. 30. I'm telling you how I cook it. I'm telling you, it's a process.
Do you want to know done, medium rare?
No, obviously medium rare.
Okay.
I was going to tell you the whole process. If you want to just know what doneness I cook it to, it's medium rare.
Medium rare. That's what I need to know what Sean says of this, because if he's like a well done steak guy and a breakfast steak guy, like
it's out of the picture.
Well, here, listen. If it's at dinner time, it's almost always medium rare. if it's first thing in the morning, my level of give a shit is at like nothing. Okay. I'm not going to overcook it. It's probably going to end up medium, but I will take whatever cut of steak I have. The cheapest one in the store, I don't give a shit. Okay. You can be super like persnickety when it comes to having a medium rare, talking about tomahawk steak. I don't no tomahawk over here. Okay. Doesn't need to be
Bro,
no New York strip cut.
One
Give me
time.
the cheapest rump roast ever. I told you, give me the ass of the cow. I want that rump roast, okay? I'll take a London broil. I don't care. I'll beat the shit out of it at
London broil is a great cut.
I'm just so confused. You went so bougie pinky out. You went pinky out with your number one answer being steak as my breakfast meat. But then on the
flip side, vibe you're getting right now? Is pinky out? You think I'm being classy with this shit right now?
It's a little pinky out. It's definitely pinky out.
Meat. And then you on the other part, you're like, I don't care if it's been expired for 2 weeks in the
I don't care if it's been expired for 2 weeks.
Bro, shout out Tiger King. You're buying the Walmart expired steaks, throwing to your Cubs.
Give me that yellow manager special sticker. My eyes go right to it.
Don't talk shit about manager special. That's my cut. Don't talk shit about manager special. That's my move.
That's my cut right there. That
Wawa has a sale on
manager special. Give it to me.
He's in the gas station. He's in the gas station. Looking for steak.
Let me get that gas station California roll.
I got hey babe, I got 3 for 1 Salisbury's.
Yeah.
and 20 on pump 6.
And
yeah,
and I got the eggs.
Hey, yo, let me get 25. Let me get 25 on pump 6. Let me get a Red Bull and let me get a New York strip sirloin. All right,
babe, it's a one-stop shop. They got everything here.
Didn't McDonald's used to have like a steak and they had like a steak and egg?
Yes,
I mean, that's Sean. That's Sean.
Yes, they did. It was on a bagel, right? It was glorious. Fried onions and everything.
A bagel.
A bagel.
A bagel.
A bagel.
I beg your pardon on the bagel.
I don't. How did I say it? I don't know.
A bagel. It's a
bagel. Bagel? No, my mouth isn't doing all that. Okay, it's tired from chewing all that fucking steak. Okay, it's not going bagel.
These are wild times.
Tom, what's your final thought, man?
Hey, all I gotta say is we wanted to talk breakfast foods, and we ended up talking steak and ground beef as too. And I'm telling you what, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see bacon coming. But I'm glad, you know what, that me and Jake are on the same exact page. We both love sausage. We both interchangeable scrapple and Taylor ham at 2, and at 3 it's bacon, and we're on the same page. So
and that's not selling bacon short. Like, they're all elite.
No. I'm glad that we brought something different than sports.
I mean, especially when you're walking my lot of House of Pancakes.
I know, exactly. The House of Pancakes. Next is going to be pancakes, waffles, or French toast as the next debate. But it was a good one.
French toast number 1, hands down.
Cooking. All right, I like that. That's a good call. But yeah, no, that was my final thought, guys. I love doing this, and good little food debate at the end. It was fun.
Shout out you, man. Sean, final thought.
Final thought. Give me meat in and around my mouth. Goodbye.
I mean, why not? Coach, final thought.
My final thought, and I'm being dead serious, is I'm using a shirtless picture of Sean as my gym motivation going forward.
Yeah, no fucking kidding, dude.
Keeping it real.
Dude, no kidding.
I'll send you a signed copy.
Attaboy. Thank you.
My final thought, I was a little bit concerned about coming back from across the pond, if you will. Phil's winners 4-1. My final thought is you can't derail this train.